Believe it or not, the secret to mastering pretty much any new skill is hidden inside one of the very first songs you ever heard. Today, we're going to deconstruct a simple kid's counting rhyme, and in the process, we're going to uncover this surprisingly brilliant blueprint for how we learn.
It really all comes down to a question that seems almost too simple. How do we actually learn our most basic ideas? You know, the ones that everything else in our heads is built on top of. Well, the answer has been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
Okay, so here it is, our source material. At first glance, it just looks like a jumble of numbers, right? A bit of a mess. But this is not a mistake. This is a code. And within this seemingly simple sequence, there's a powerful and totally deliberate three-act structure for teaching just about anything.
To crack this code, we're going to look at it as a kind of hero's journey. Act 1 is all about taking those first critical steps. This is our hero, the learner, leaving their ordinary world and starting the quest for knowledge, beginning with just 1, 2, and 3.
So the journey begins with absolute total clarity, just the number 1. There are 0 distractions, no complications. It's just that first perfect foundational concept.
Then comes 2. And you gotta notice the clean, one after the other progression here. It's all about building confidence by setting up a simple, predictable pattern. One step, and then the next. Easy.
And finally, 3. Just like that, the first phase of the journey is over. The learner has been introduced to the core idea of a sequence, and a really solid foundation is now in place.
So what's the strategy here? Well, it's actually beautiful in its simplicity. First off, you get a crystal clear introduction. Next, an unbroken sequence to build some momentum, and crucially, there are absolutely 0 distractions. This whole process just establishes a solid baseline of knowledge that the rest of the lesson can build on. But, you know, every hero has to face a trial. So let's move into Act 2. For our learner, the first big challenge isn't some monster. It's the idea of repetition, which is designed specifically to strengthen what they've just learned.
Now, this isn't just about repeating things mindlessly. There's a formal name for this technique: cognitive reinforcement. It's the very deliberate process of repeating information to strengthen those neural pathways in our brain, basically moving knowledge from our flimsy short-term memory into our rock-solid long-term memory.
And right here, you can literally see the shift in strategy. In phase 1, that intro phrase 1, 2, 3 was said just once. But in phase 2, the reinforcement phrase 4, 5, 6 is said twice, back to back. This is the song's first big secret. It's not enough to just see something once. You have to engage with it again to really truly learn it.
And that brings us to Act 3, the final ascent. This is the climax of our hero's journey. This is where the lesson gets locked in permanently through some intense focus and a pretty dramatic increase in reinforcement.
I mean, just look at the subtle genius here. Before the final big push, we get this little warm-up, 7, 7, then 8, 8. This paired repetition is kind of priming the brain for the intense finale that's about to come with that last, most important idea.
And then boom, the lesson unleashes its most powerful tool. The final phrase, 9 and 10, is introduced. This marks the beginning of the final push for mastery.
And immediately, it hits you again. See, this isn't just repetition. This is like a brute force attack on your memory. It's designed to be overwhelming, to make the concept totally unforgettable.
And again, it is so crucial to see that this is not lazy writing. It is a targeted mnemonic device, strategically placed for maximum cognitive impact, right at the climax of the whole lesson.
One last time. With this final, definitive repetition, the journey is over. The knowledge is secured. Our hero has, seized the sword.
So the journey's complete. The hero returns with the elixir, the reward of knowledge. But what does that actually look like? Well, in our explainer, it looks like data. We can actually visualize the song's entire strategy. In this chart, wow, it reveals the entire lesson plan in one quick glance. The introduction phrase 1, 2, 3, it appears twice. The reinforcement phrase 4, 5, 6, also twice. But just look at the climax. The 9, 10 phrase is hammered home a full 4 times, literally doubling the intensity right when it matters most. So the crucial point is this: the structure of this song isn't random, not at all. It is a perfect, deliberate ramp-up of cognitive reinforcement. It introduces a concept, reinforces it with a little repetition, and then just drives it into permanent memory with intense, focused repetition right at the end.
And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about. If this simple 3-act pattern of learning can teach a child one of their very first and most important lessons, what other complex problems in our own lives, I'm talking learning a new language, a new instrument, or some technical skill, could we solve by applying this exact same blueprint? Introduce, reinforce, and master.